In this video, I'm going to show you guys some examples of S-class formulas for weapons. This will be a huge game changer, and once again, some of you guys may want to know and get a hint to what you can do with these abilities. Now, there will be several other videos where I still go over S-class abilities, especially the technical stuff. However, this video is to emphasize on formulas. But I do need to point something out. There will be time skips depending on what you want to see. It's not going to be as long, but if you do plan to work with weapons, understand that a lot of players are pushing for 8 slots, especially over here in the Japanese PSO2 with endgame weapon. Now, do you have to go for an 8 slot? No, this is entirely up to you. But the reason why they're pushing for 8 slots is because of how many slots takes up the S-class abilities. And sometimes, depending on you yourself, you will want to maximize on that. You will want to add a bit more just because maybe just having 4 S-class abilities isn't enough to give you a bit more of the other goodies, other affixes, other benefits for having more slots. Now, this is up to you. This is just my opinion. I'm just saying it. Do you have to do it? No. But you would consider and you would want to try to push for 8 slots when they start releasing a bunch of 15-star weapons with a lot more S-class ability holders. Now, 14 stars do have that option as well. A couple of 13 stars allow you to do it as well. There's a reason to why I hoard certain weapons that can have S-class abilities. But that's for a separate video that goes into more manipulating certain S-class abilities and abusing a certain function. But you'll see all of that in future videos. This video is just to emphasize on these different formulas, these endless amount of formulas you can do with S-class abilities. And once again, that's just my opinion. If you don't want to go for an 8 slot, you're okay with 6 slot, 7 slot, that is on you. Good on you. Enough of the chit chat and stuff. Let us get into some weapon making. So, let's say, understand that you also need to understand how to read your weapon too, especially if it holds S-class abilities. It's going to be located on the second page. You'll see, once again, a future video that explains, a better redo of a video that explains S-class abilities. But yeah, there's a lot of them. You got S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. Those are the ones that you'll find on a weapon. Let us work with at least just 3 of these, and then I'll talk about some weapons that have 4 S-class ability, and then the one particular weapon that has 5 S-class abilities. So, once again, if you want to look at a certain formula, you can look in the description for that. And note that some of these formulas aren't going to be good. Some of them might need improvement on themselves. I don't know all the S-class abilities. The one that I started off with, I used the S1 green leaf flash on my Atlas. This, every 20 seconds, a barrier turns what? A barrier turns on and off. The barrier reduces damage by 8% and prevents flinching. So that's in reference to, what is it, Massive Hunter. Because that prevents flinching for a good 20 seconds. It goes on and off. So you don't have full control of it, but at the very least you can get that to kick in every now and then. It can help you when you try to do something. Now, this wouldn't be useful with someone like a Hunter main or a Hunter sub, because if you have that Massive Hunter perk, then you don't need to actually get this. Or let's say you have the Massive Hunter ring. You would not want to try to get this just because you're kind of overstacking it. Maybe you do want to get it, especially if you had the ring. But you don't want to use this as much if you have a way to have Massive Hunter. But once again, this ultimately falls on you. Let's say you want to just stack on it or have like multiple times to make sure you don't get knocked back and stuff, and you don't mind getting an S1 on your ability. That's fine. It's up to you. You got endless combinations. So I got something like that. Okay, so the next few abilities, I can go for something like, let's say I would just want to emphasize on making sure that, let's say I'm going very tanky. I could go do an S2 over here, where it's like, reduces damage every 7 seconds. It's not as bad. But the thing is, do I really want to do that when there's an option where I can emphasize on that S1 ability, that green leaf flash? For example, I could go for Ambiguous Gleam. This increased natural PP recovery by 25% when S1 yellow moon flash, S1 green leaf flash, and S1 black shadow flash are active. If I have the S1 green leaf flash, this will be nice to have. It will complement what I have, which is the S1. So if I go with this S2, I'm getting natural PP recovery, 25% if it is active. So it's not as bad. It's something I can go for, especially if I want PP recovery. And this is natural PP recovery. It's not like you smacking something. No, it's like increasing that speed of the natural PP recovery. So okay, now I got like an S2. Now, obviously, you can take your time and figure out if you want something else, because there's another ambiguous ability, an S2, Ambiguous Guardian. This decreases damage taken by 12% when S1 Yellow Moon Flash, S1 Green Leaf Flash, and S1 Black Shadow Flash are active. Well, so I can go for Ambiguous Gleam or Ambiguous Guardian just because I have S1, the S1 Green Leaf Flash. Maybe I don't want to get something like that and go for like what I had in the beginning. It falls down to what you want to do, but I'm going to leave that as it is. And then for the S3, I could go for something like Offensive Intent. Offensive Intent give you an increased damage by 2%. Alright, that covers my damage, but do I want that when I could try to find a certain ability like... what is it? Something like Ambiguous Reduction, which decreased PP reduction by 14% when S1 Yellow Moon Flash, S1 Green Leaf Flash, and or blah, blah, blah. S1 Black Shadow Flash is active. Decreases PP reduction. So, I already got something that increases my natural PP. Why not get something that also helped me save more PP or reduce the usage of PP? So, this is something you can go for. Have an S1, S2, S3. Now, it doesn't matter how you affix this. Well, it does in a sense. But ultimately, the thing is, you're not going to have a struggle with working with these particular abilities. Because let's say you try to... let me make this into a 3 slot now. And then let me fill this with trash. You can see that if I want to try to get all 3 of these and then try to up slots, it's not a problem. These things will carry over. This hints at how you will not lose your S-Class abilities later. The only way you get rid of them is if you overwrite them and you make sure it does not carry over. There is a way to make sure you save your S-Class abilities, but you will have to exchange junk S-Class abilities here and there. And yes, there are such things as junk S-Class abilities because it's a common drop. It's because like everyone could get them. It's because it's not as great compared to like several other abilities. For example, the Offensive Intent one that I mentioned somewhere. The S3 over here. This increased damage by 2%. It's not bad. It's a good thing to go for. It's just that there are better options. If you look through all these different abilities, there might be something that can increase your damage a lot. For example, there's this S3 Nature's Melody 2. This is actually located on my, or this ability I have on my still weapon, on my wand that I showcased every now and then. And when I was talking about previous videos, or my previous videos talking about the S-Class abilities, I talked about S3 Nature's Melody 2. While Red Petal Flash, Blue Ocean Flash, or White Snow Flash is active, boosts damage up to 7% over time. So, you got a 2%, it's okay. But then you got something like that, it's a 7%. But the problem with this one, this Nature's Melody Intent, even though it can give you 7% over time, you had to get the Red Flash. So that means you're forced to get the Red Flash to try to get that perk. Question is, do you have the money, do you have the time, or do you have that ability in itself? And can you actually make a combo with that? So yeah, that's one way to approach this. And once again, if you look at these final fixes, you'll notice that, yeah, you got a bunch of S-Class abilities, but that's it. You only got these S-Class abilities. Yes, you can work with just S-Class abilities by itself, but it would be nice to have a bit more with it. So, what you could do, let's say you don't want to go to the extreme yet, and you want to just have a 6 slot. Let me just fill this up. Fill it with a bunch of trash. And, actually, let me just start putting other stuff as well, like SAF stuff. So let's say you got that. So let's say you can use a pop item, and then you could. What's another thing that's a SAF of? Let's go with mod, because I can't remember anything else off the top of my head. So let's say, oh duh, let me change that, and then now I'm gonna have to fix that again if it can. All right, so let's say let's put the S class abilities first to make it easy. And then you would, let's not go with a grand right off the bat, let's go with the grace power. So you can see that this thing can give you those weapon potentials, but then it can give you a good plus 115. But this is for a 6 slot. If you increase it to like an 8 slot, then you can try to push it even further and get it to give you a lot more attack power. But once again, this ultimately falls on you to figure out how to go about this. So let's say I do push this to an 8 slot. That means I'm going to have to manipulate this a bit more. Let's say sentence ability, because I know that you can get these as an SAF. And then for the last ability that could go for... Nah, you're already getting what, Astral, so if you do this, modulators at SAF, what's another thing? Oh, power 5. Now, this is referenced to the Japanese PSO2. If you can get like a power or a might 5, that's on you. But yeah, let me get a 6. Let's say, let me do something like that. Or better yet, let me just move that over there instead. And then I'm gonna delete and then fill this up. Hold up. Don't know why you ain't working. Damn button. Work with me. There you go. Bloody hell. You're supposed to be at a high slot number. Let me just move that. Don't know why I didn't fill up that fodder 5 slot. But yeah, so... when it comes to this one... you can do something like this. And then... Then you get something that gives you a lot of attack, but then you also got your 3 weapon potentials. It's up to you to figure out how to customize this, but when S-class abilities become a thing, and you guys get 15 star over there in North America / global PSO2, this is something you want to toy around with. This is when you want to get serious with your weapons. Alright, so let me copy this and then talk about something that has like 4 S-class abilities. Now, there will be some 13 stars that can do 3 S-class abilities, some 13 stars that can do... I don't think there's a particular 13 stars that can do 4, but some of them can have just 1 and 2. Then there's 14 stars that follow the same boat, which is, it's a couple of S-class abilities. I don't recall seeing a certain 14 star that can hold 4 S-class abilities, but 15 stars, they tend to get to that point where it's like, okay, they can hold 4 S-class abilities, and then right now, only one particular weapon in the Japanese PSO2 can hold up to 5 S-class abilities. And I'll show you guys a future project of mine that I have in terms of making that thing. Alright, so we get work with 8 slots from here on out. So let's say that the weapon has like 4 S-class abilities you can use. So if it has 4, then it's most likely going to be, what is it? I'm going to take out like an SAF of one of them. So I'm just going to stick with something like this. Yeah. But now if it has 4 S-class abilities, either S1, S2, S3, and an S4, or it could be S1, S2, S3, and S5. And note that you don't need to have all these S-class abilities just by itself. There is a way to manipulate them so you can actually just have them together already. Like, if I wanted to make it easy on myself, I would just have these abilities here instead. And I would need to fix this by doing that. And then it's just easier to manipulate and do what you need to do. But yeah, let me go over here, make a new one, and then S1, S4. So this was something I did for, I think, my Katana Atlas at first, but then I swapped it around, and then I changed up a lot of things. Let me talk about the... Yeah, I guess I can show you guys, like, the damage one. Now, there are other ones, like, stacking up on crit. But let's say you want to do that 17% that I was able to do on my still weapon. So what you want to do is somehow get the S1, S2, S3, and then S5 in one go. There is a certain thing about like getting other S-class abilities from certain SAFs. You can see a lot of weapons, SAFs, giving you an S-class ability. And there's a reason to why you would want a couple copies of 15 stars later, where you can get a particular SAF that you normally couldn't get from any other weapon. Now, where the bloody hell are you? Red, 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 red. So let's go with this. Red Petal Flash. If you don't know what it does, let me just... Okay, I got rid of you. I was not trying to get rid of you. The Red Petal Flash is a plus 3% damage for 30 seconds after inflicting a total of 450,000 damage. So you need to meet that criteria, but you'll get 3% damage for doing it. The next one I'm going to bring up will be the S2, which is pretty much Rainbow's Intent. I think it's called Rainbow's Intent. Or, excuse me, Nature's Intent. I think, yeah, Nature's Intent. Increased damage by... Is it that? Or is it something else? Hold up. No, that's not that one. Yeah, here's Rainbow's Intent. This is the one you want to get. Now, you could go for what I just pulled up, but this one gives you a lot more damage because it says while Petal, Ocean, Leaf, Moon, Snow, or Shadow Flash is active, boosts damage by 5%. So I do have a red Petal Flash. So I meet that criteria. So boom, now it's a good 8%. Then with the S3 ability, I could go for Nature's Melody 2, which is while Red Flash, Petal, Blue Ocean Flash, or White Snow Flash is active, boosts damage by 7% over time. And then for my S5 ability, this particular ability that I got is actually for a wand specifically, because it will state that in its text. It's Calming Expanse? No, it's Calming... Nope. Where the fuck are you? It has calm in its name. Where are ya? Where are ya? You supposed to be a wand. Calming Shockwave. Here we go. So unleashes a Shockwave on your third step normal attack. It boosts damage by 2%. Wand only. There are a couple other abilities that state something very specific like that. Like some of those calming abilities I saw down there, they will be towards rifles and assault rifles. But this one specifically was for the wand, which gives me an additional 2%, which is now 70% damage. So I can do something like this, and then go with Power Astral Modulator. Then if I want, I could go for a Grand ability over here, like Grand Power. But then guess what? This thing is a good plus 170. And then it has all these other perks too as well. So now, not only do I have like a flat number damage, I also have a percent damage as well to increase my damage even further. This is once again on my still wand. Now, let us talk about that one weapon that has 5 S-class abilities, and this is something that I'm gonna go for. Like the thing is, I might get another set of these just so I can do a lot of things. Now, I'm not getting this particular S5 ability though, and let's just say that all these SAFs that I'm going for now, it's not gonna become a thing because I'm doing this like hardcore. Like this is well material. So I am keeping that S1, S2, S3, But now for my S4 and 5, I will get Vampiric Strike. Now, I'm a huge fan of Vampiric Strike because I like my lifesteal. If you want something else that would benefit you, go ahead and get that. But for me, I'm going to get Vampiric Strike just because I know that this particular weapon will not be used for a 12. And this is something that's going to help me when I fight. Now, there are certain boss stages or like certain modes that will force you to not get a lot of regen. But the one other ability I'm stacking on top of that is it's a certain ability that I didn't really think about. Or like I knew about it, it's just that I didn't realize, oh wait, shit, this can actually work on S-class abilities too. And it's going to be Antithesis Cultivation. Now you might be wondering, what the hell does this thing do, Morph? If Vampiric Strike is pretty much you getting lifesteal, what does this S5 do? It doubles the effects of special abilities. And from what a friend explained to me, this isn't just for your stat of fixed numbers. No, it doubles everything. So if this red flash is able to give me 3% if I make 450,000 damage, I think it might increase that damage criteria as well. I might be wrong. But the thing is, now that 3% is becoming a 6% because of Antithesis Cultivation. The S3, Nature's Melody 2, where it's gonna, boost 7%, it's gonna slowly build up to 7% over time, is now gonna build up to 14%. So the 15% damage I'm getting becomes a 30% because of that Antithesis Cultivation. Now, when it comes to me getting lifesteal, instead of it just being like, 1%, now it's going to get doubled, so it's 2%, and the max is going to be 60%. So, yeah, this thing is good. Now, the thing is, I'm already having like 5 of these S-class abilities. This is well, because guess what I'm going to try to do? Make fucking Guardian. So, now the problem with me doing this is that I am forced to gamble. There is no H-slot protection. There is no SAF for Guardian, so I have to deal with this. So, and also I gotta do some other things as well. So one of these unit pieces is gonna have like a mark as well, a receptor of some sort, and I can use a pop item to do what I need to do as well. I do have an Exceed receptor, for example. So I'm going to put that there. One of these unit pieces, one of these weapon fodder pieces is going to have the Exceed ability, which is going to be this one right here. Then I'm going to have to get Ethifactor. Mana. Absolute. So, getting S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. I'm getting Guardian, so I'm getting Exceed Energy. And then I am going to be using a pop item to get... I would go with a Mark, just because it's an all-rounder in terms of the attacks, and I get Dex. If I use a Grand, it might sound nice, but no, I want to make sure I make this a universal thing, because guess what? With this certain weapon series, which is the Lightbringer, it might be called something over there. Is it called something else over there in Global PSO2? But the thing is, if you're able to convert it, I need to make sure that I don't need to ever affix this motherfucker ever again. Now you can see, though, that the percent for Guardian Cell is fucking low. I need to do this on a boost week. I need to make sure that I use whatever booster I have. I do have a 50%. I'm going to have to deal with a 75. The problem with me doing this is the sheer fact that I'm gambling with the Exceed. Like, this shouldn't hurt me as much, but because I'm using a Receptor, yes, it will hurt me. Everything else, I can easily remake again. And then I do have extra marks, so... yeah, if it fails, then I got to do it again. But the problem is that Exceed Energy. And, yeah, these are the final stats. Now, it's not a lot in terms of it, but with the antithesis, that is doubled. So if it's like S attack plus 170 all around, times that by 2. It's 340 then, with the antithesis. And then guess what? Those basic other stats, 90 times 2 is now 180. So it's pretty much acting like a finalized unit piece of mine. This is why I want to emphasize on these stats and use the antithesis to make this as godlike as possible. But it's not going to be cheap, and I am forced to gamble, as you can see. But that is it for this video, talking about S-Class abilities. If you've got any question, comment, concerns, put it down below. You can use these to your advantage. If you want to get familiar with all these S-Class abilities, go ahead and look at them. Note that it's not going to be released. Not all of the S-Class abilities are going to be released upon episode 5 release. They might do it slow, they might do it in chunks. Just keep tabs on what S-Class abilities are going to be released. They get to announce it most likely through the main website for the global PSO2. But yeah, this is what I'm aiming for. Once I get my hands on that certain weapon series, I'm going to make a video talking about how to make it. But then I'm also going to do the affix for it. And I'm going to make sure that I already got the fodder materials already prepped and ready. This is what I'm dealing with. So, that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.